and the new government came in, President Trump came in, and well, he's been keeping us busy as well, right? So based on the whole tariff announcements, that the new administration announced tariffs of 20 levying tariffs of 25% on Canada and Mexico across the board. The only change was 10% on Canadian oil. Well, we tried to analyze that and what that would mean, right? So I mean, we work a lot with the numbers of what the USMCA generates and what this North American economy means. I mean, and it's a pretty big deal, right? It's this whole North American component is a 3.8 no no sorry a 1.8 trillion economy, right? It has more than 500 million consumers, and it generates $3.5 million of trade by the minute. So that's pretty big, right? And it also generates 30% of the world's GDP. So North America has finally, I think, is in the stages of consolidating itself as a big powerhouse economy, right? Europe, the European Union doesn't produce the same GDP that, I mean, you won't find. I mean, there is another big trading bloc that involves China and a lot of Asian economies and so on. I mean, but those are, if I remember correctly, I think those are 16 countries that participate in that trading economy, and they also produce 30% of the world GDP, right? But here you're talking about three countries, right? So it's pretty impressive what North America represents. So having said that and keeping that in mind, when the whole tariff deal came out, we tried to explore and to analyze what impacts it could have, right? I mean, and I've written about the first impacts that could be felt. Obviously, would be for people like you and me, right? Like just grocery shopping. Obviously, it's going to get more expensive. Grocery shopping. Many of the products that we find at our local HEBs or other supermarkets are coming from Mexico, right? I mean, all the berries, tomatoes, avocados, bell peppers, all these sort of things. Well, right off the bat, whatever's in stock, but it's a short shelf life product, right? So it's constantly being restocked. So that's gonna feel the heat right away, right? Cars. I mean, cars is the supply chain example of North American integration, right? I mean, a car before it's finalized has probably crossed the border, I don't know, 8 times before it's finalized and you can sell it, right? So that's going to be interesting, quantifying how tariffs are going to impact that, right? So there's studies out there anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 that a car price can go up, right, because of tariffs. Um, Gas prices, not for us over here at the southern border so much, but more at the northern border where refineries are refining Canadian oil and making gasoline. Well, that's going to have a tariff not of 25% but of 10%. So that's another hike there that's going to be felt, right? So then talking to local business leaders and industry experts and things like that, we were trying to find other ways to represent the impact that tariffs could have on the United States, right? So we put together a report that we called North American Trade Integration at Risk, and it's an analysis of employment impacts from proposed tariffs, right? So this report basically, we analyzed the top 15 states in the United States where there would be more exposure to employment, that the more employment could be exposed to tariffs. I mean, we're not saying that all of these employees would be lost, but at least they would be exposed. So we this report um revealed that over 4.3 million jobs, 4.3 million jobs could face exposure to potential trade trade um trade disruptions, right? So uh the states are the most impacted would be Texas, because of how integrated Texas is with Mexico. We have Michigan, California, Illinois. There's all sorts of states that we analyzed, and what we did to figure out this exposure is, and we just analyzed two sectors: the manufacturing sector and the agricultural sector, to be able to I think they would be the most impacted by these tariffs. And yeah, the manufacturing sector showed the highest vulnerability, with about 3.7 million jobs that would be exposed across these 15 states. Agricultural and mining sectors, it was over close to 650,000 jobs or something like that would also be exposed, right? So, and like I say, there's all type of states. We have Ohio in there, with more than 420,000 jobs exposed, because they have a high agricultural trade share with Mexico. So we did it for both Mexico and Canada. So yeah, I mean, it was an interesting report that we put together. I think it opened a lot of eyes, where especially for policy folks, right, to be able to grasp the unintended consequences of some policy actions, right, and where they could hit, right. And so that's part of our research at the center. I mean, we're at the border, but it's not only the border. I mean, it's states all around the United States that will be exposed. And now we're working on replicating that report, and we're having a little harder time getting the data, but we're getting there. But replicating it to Mexico and trying to figure out in Mexico which ones are going to be the top 15 states that would be exposed as well, right? So that was the second report we put together.